On September the 2nd next week, the Age-Appropriate Design Code will come into force. Also known as the Children's Code, it aims to protect children's data online. The code achieves this goal by setting out the appropriate standards of age-appropriate design of information society services that are likely to be accessed by children. It was issued 1 year ago by the Information Commissioner's Office, and businesses were given a 12-month transition period to conform to its standards. But despite the transition period, many businesses are still afraid of falling foul of these sweeping regulations, whose draconian penalties match those of the EU's GDPR regulations. So in today's video, we will take a closer look at what is included in the Children's Code and why businesses are concerned about it. First off, let's take a closer look at the code itself. As we mentioned before, the code ensures that the children's best interests are the primary consideration for online service providers when developing systems that will be accessed by their age group. Accordingly, the code limits companies tracking the location of children through geolocation, personalizing content or advertising for them, and serving up behavioral nudges, such as autoplay, videos, and push notifications. Some practical examples come from large social media platforms, such as YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, which have made proactive changes in response to the code. YouTube has stated it will turn off autoplay on videos and remove ad targeting and personalization for all under 18s. It also said it would activate take a break and bedtime reminders for the same age group. Instagram also introduced changes, such as preventing adults from messaging people under 18 who do not follow them. Meanwhile, TikTok said it would no longer send push notifications after 9 p.m. to users aged 13 to 15 and after 10 p.m. for users aged 16 to 17. Another important part of the code is the requirement for age verification. In order to establish age-appropriate application for their services, the code states that online service providers must determine the age range of their audience with a sufficient level of certainty. The code suggests ways to do this, such as requiring the user to declare their age, using artificial intelligence to analyze user patterns, or by using third-party verification services. So that's what the code contains. Now, who does it apply to? The ICO has taken a broad brush approach with regards to its scope. Accordingly, the code applies to information society services likely to be accessed by children in the UK. It is not restricted to services specifically directed to children. As we have seen, this includes social media companies, video streaming and gaming platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. However, the code also captures companies which do not provide services specifically to children. This may include e-commerce retailers and educational platforms such as newspapers. So why are businesses so concerned about the code? As we mentioned earlier, the code captures companies that do not specifically target children, such as retailers and newspapers. These companies would still need to provide age-appropriate safeguards to protect the best interests of any children who access them. But since they do not specifically target children, it is difficult to know what the extent of their obligations are with respect to the code. Another aspect that worries companies is age verification. Companies believe it could carry additional privacy risks and become burdensome for smaller companies. Although the ICO has suggested some solutions, it would be very expensive for smaller companies or startups to implement, say, artificial intelligence technology to identify the age of its users, especially where children are not their target audience. These concerns are magnified due to the draconian penalties for violating the code. Similar to the EU's GDPR penalties, companies can be fined up to 20 million euros or 4% of their annual global turnover. Thankfully, the ICO acknowledges these concerns and has responded to them. It has stated that it will adopt a common-sense approach when enforcing the code. It will focus the full range of its enforcement powers, such as audits on high-risk areas, such as gaming platforms, and conversely, will not expect to see short-term action from low-risk areas, such as e-commerce. The ICO also recognized that the technological solutions for age verifications were impractical and unnecessarily intrusive for certain low-risk companies. To that effect, they have said that they would not expect all companies to implement the age barrier straight away, and that they would publish further guidance on age verification in autumn. So it seems that businesses can take comfort from the ICO's common-sense approach when implementing the Children's Code. At any rate, the code serves an essential regulatory purpose. It safeguards society's most vulnerable and prolific users of technology from exploitation, and in the digital environment world, it will always be a welcome change, regardless of its short-term faults. As always, thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed, please do consider leaving us a like, comment, and subscribing for more great content.